welcome to No Enemies Here, the show where you get your news. The news that's important, not people dying, but people playing games that people are dying. Know what I'm saying? Welcome to this fine Saturday. It is August 5th, but it's August 4th for me, so what can I tell you? I gotta suspend belief, you know what I'm saying? Ricardo's in the house today. Our regular folk are in the house. Even Kilroy managed to send me a little something because he's playing solo dad this week. Stuff happens, you know. And it just hit me that the CSRs are over. It's done with. I don't think there was a lot of flack. As a matter of fact, I don't think there was any flack at all. Which leaves me a little bit disquieted. No flack. Or none that I know of. But anyways, it's gonna be that type of show. It's gonna be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Eh? There's the John Wick number 4 movie out. I can't wait to watch it. Love John Wick. I wish they made more. The new, what is it? The Equalizer with Denzel. I love Denzel. And that's it, man. It's gonna be an easy show. And have a great coffee and be nice. Hey, use the code 25% off on their website. What's the matter with you?
What's your problem, kid?
Hello, this is Riccardo Mazzini, and this time the greatest day in history and games is August 20, 1940. The day when Winston Churchill, at the very height of the Battle of Britain, delivered one of his greatest speeches. Never was so much owed by so many to so few. Now, the scenario, I think that is very well known by every one of us. The Battle of Britain. In May 1940, France fell against the German Wehrmacht and against the German advance very rapidly, very quickly. And it was absolutely an unexpected event by both British and French high commands. And so Britain effectively stood alone against Germany, and after a while also against Italy, so against the entire Axis. And this situation would go on until Operation Barbarossa in mid-1941. So for a full year, Great Britain, the United Kingdom, the British Commonwealth had to endure all World War II alone. And we all know the great rhetoric about the valiant British pilots who were so few, that defended the British Isles against the German Luftwaffe and the bombers and the bombing of London and of the airfields, the radio stations, the industrial complex, and so on and so on. We also know from great movies like Battle of Britain that also from history books, of course, that the air campaign conducted by the Germans had a lot of problems of difficulties, of disadvantages. There were, for example, there was the key tactical advantage for British pilots who were fighting over their own soil. So when a British pilot was shot down, he could survive the crash of the aircraft, he could launch with a parachute, etc., and he would land on friendly soil. But a German pilot could not afford such a luxury because he was flying over enemy soil, so he was very easily he was captured, so he was out of the war. Also, British industrial production was better than imagined. The radar system was key and worked very well, even beyond the highest expectations of its inventors and developers. And the Spitfires and Hurricanes, also technically the British aircraft, were not superior to the German Messerschmitts, the German fighters, but they were very complementary with each other. The Spitfire was very good against the German fighters. Hurricane, the more robust Hurricane, was even better against the German bombers. So the two worked very well in unison. The organization of the RAF squadron was top notch. So it was very good. It was very efficient. And also the ground alert service, the civil service, the ground observers, everything worked very, very well in the Battle of Britain for the British. Also, if something had not worked so well, the idea of a possible invasion of the British Isles by the German army was very far-fetched. Even if the RAF was destroyed, there was still the Royal Navy, so it was very optimistic to think that a land invasion of the British Isles would have gone well for the Germans. And most of all, the Germans knew that, the German High Command knew that, especially the Navy High Command, the Kriegsmarine High Command, was very aware that such an invasion was almost impossible. So all this rhetoric about the Battle of Britain, so was it all useless? It was a lost battle just from the start for the Germans, and also the bombers, which were more adapted to tactical bombings against very specific military installations, a task at which they were good, but they could not develop a strategic, they could not conduct the high-level strategic bombing operation. They were not good at that. They were not built for that purpose. There was problems of range, etc. Well, all of this was useless. The battle was already decided from the start. Yes and no. Why? Because, and this is a great lesson, the Battle of Britain teaches us this many times. Battles are not just won on the field by purely kinetic factors, kinetic elements. So many aircrafts against so many aircrafts on the other side. Simple force ratio, you roll a die and one or two sides win. It does not work that way. Because many times great battles, campaigns and entire wars are won on the basis of the will to continue, to go on fighting, the will to fight, to carry on. And the British had that desire to carry on. And the German campaign could have succeeded in forcing the British to sign a separate peace. There were talks. There is a great movie, The Darkest Hour, that shows it exceptionally well. There were many elements in the British high political leadership who were ready for a separate peace, for not just a separate peace, for a peace with Germany. Maybe also there were offers for intermediations by the Italians as well, that could serve as as mediators for a peace between Britain and Germany. And many in Great Britain wanted that. And if the British did not develop such a high level of resistance, they could have collapsed. The British people could have accepted this peace settlement with the Germans. It was only a generation from the great slaughter of World War I. So many in the British Empire were more than ready to accept a peace with Germany. But there was a man who did not want that, and managed to gather around him with his leadership so much consent over the continuation of war at all costs. And that man was Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister, was really the right man at the right time. And so Churchill gathered his support also from opposition parties like the Labour Party, because he formed a coalition government, and managed through speeches like this one, the idea that so much, so few, these great images, he managed to gather around him enough popular consent, enough popular support to make the continuation of war possible and the final, total, decisive victory of Great Britain possible. Because in that period many had speculated that the long and protracted bombing campaign, such as the one conducted by the Germans, would have destroyed the willpower of a country to go on in war. Many had said that the bomber will always get through. Some bombers will go on and they will bomb the cities, the industrial complex, and the airfields, everything. And so the population of a nation will not be, of a country, will not be ready to go on with a war. And that was true. And it happened. And the Battle of Britain had that potential. And it took men like Winston Churchill and the leaders of the British Fighter Command and also the British Bomber Command to avoid this, to finally get to victory, to keep people together, to endure an entire 6 months of continuous bombings, and even after during the war, to finally win this psychological challenge. And this is a great lesson that many conflicts in human history are won or lost on non-kinetic domains, like the will to carry on fighting, the will to continue fighting. Battle of Britain is a prime example of this, and this is why this peculiar speech by Winston Churchill is so important, because it was not a purely military event, but it was a political event that had a very high impact on the military situation. But we are wargamers, so to represent this campaign on kinetic terms, yes, on operational and military terms, but also on the terms with many factors belonging to the political and psychological domain, we have one reference title, that is RAF. It is a very classic title that I love so much that I consider it the reference title for playing out the Battle of Britain on the operational scale, period, without any doubts. And in this game, when playing as the British, you will have to deal with inadequate intelligence, gather all those small pieces of information on incoming German raids. You will have to manage insufficient resources. You will have to deal with a very fragile and disordered coordination between all different squadrons scattered over so much land, and you will have promotions to make and replacements, and you'll have green squadrons and expert squadrons. You will have defenses that are always inadequately deployed, and you'll have to redeploy them all over the map. You'll have problems everywhere. It will be as well as a military, a rational, as well as an emotional, a psychological challenge to deal with wave after wave after wave of German bombers coming, managed by the bot, and they seem to be unstoppable are relentless. They are terrific, and it is a very, very, very formative, not only informative experience on the Battle of Britain. You will feel, you will see, you will feel the exhaustion of this battle. Also thanks to the great materials of the game and the great interface that is really reminiscent of the technology of the day, and really, it really gets you into that mindset. And it is also a long game, a multi-session game, and it is fine because it really gives you a sense of protracted time in this campaign. And when you have finished the British module Lion of the game, you now have to play the German one, Eagle, and you will find yourself into the shoes of the German planners that have inadequate directives coming from above, not enough resources, so many people and young pilots to go on and send them to die over that land, over that Great Britain, which looks endless. The emotional situation is reversed, and this is also a great and very important historical lesson. RAF is not a difficult game. It is one of the best solitaire I've ever played. It also has a multiplayer mode, but I think that is a bit too long. You have too much downtime. It really shines as two solitaire games. Actually, two solitaire games. It is not difficult, especially if you use the STUKAJOE's great gaming guide cards, the deck of cards that really explain one segment of the turn after the other. It is quite long. It requires some sessions, but as I said, it is good. It is part of the experience. It also has shorter scenarios that you can play if you are good in one session. However, thanks to the perfect combination of high detail and ideal playability, this is a truly classic game that will give you a truly epic and very, very historically plausible experience about the Battle of Britain. A real must, for me, a real must-have title for any serious World War II enthusiast and wargamer. So, that's it for this time. See you on the next battlefields. Ciao.
Here we go with the news. That rat, that good guy, KilRoyWasHere, has like 12 videos out and he doesn't have time to make one for me. For us! It's for us! Kilroy goes off the shelf on his weekly update with Game Fix magazine. I didn't even know there was a magazine called Game Fix. Coffee with Kilroy, my favorite segment. And it's the house on Sentinel Hill for Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturdays. And also Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturdays. He's giving away an introduction to Arkham Horror. I think it's a card game. Plus, again on Sci-Fi Saturdays, he's Winifred Habermock. Final Fantasy games. Another giveaway. This guy's giving away everything. Another Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday. Machinations Through Time. Another giveaway. Then he's on, another Coffee with Spy vs. Spy Sanctuary Sundays. This guy's crazy. And for your eyes only, Top Secret Sanctuary Sundays, it's eyes only, do not disseminate. And why does he use those big words? He wants to trip me up. And then the Top Secret on, Top Secret Tuesdays? Spy role-playing games, eyes only, do not disseminate. There's that word again. Then Cruel Necessity, The English Civil War, 1640-1653, by Worthington. This is an unboxing. And The Ballad of Luthen, by THGC, unboxing and overview. Another Coffee with Kilroy. This guy drinks like crazy. War Diary number 23, plus Attack on Cahokia by THGC, an unboxing and an overview. What, you're not giving it away? For God's sakes, man. The gentlemen of the Player's Aid have, 8 videos they've been working. Who knew? They're unboxing Endurance by HOLLANDSPIELE. Also, they're reviewing Unconditional Surrender. This is a, my God, what's his name? I like the guy. Salvasta. GMT published. Then they're unboxing Saigon 75 by Nuts Publishing. And then they give you their disappointing games. I actually watched it. And you know what? It takes a certain amount of tact. And a certain amount of diplomacy, which tact, diplomacy, whatever, same thing, being redundant, to actually mention games that they don't like, because they do have an influence, and though they state very, very often that this is just their opinion, and you know what, a review is just an opinion of the reviewer. You might like those games like they state, and kudos to them for doing it, and doing it so gentlemanly-like. Good stuff, gentlemen. Faction Functions, FARC, Andean Abyss, or Andean Abyss. Another Faction Function, AUC, Andean Abyss. Again, Faction Function, and another Faction Function, the Cartels and the Government. Andean Abyss, this is a game by Volko Runke, I'm sure, and it's published by GMC. Cutesy Bouncy Zilla Blitz, 3 videos, Village Assault, Lock and Load Tactical 0 to Hero. And Melee Madness, again, Lock and Load Tactical 0 to Hero. And SGS Battle for Stalingrad playthrough, World War II East Front. This is a PC game, and it's Pavlov's House on Zilla Blitz. On War Stories, 4 videos. Why war has been crucial to the evolution of modern technology. Last Stand, the desperate civilian defense of Kursk in Battlefield segment. And the hidden truth behind Yemen's civil war, the secret wars uncovered. And Seoul, the bloody back and forth battle for South Korea's capital on the Battle Zone segment of the channel War Stories. Nepotism, come on, nepotism. On the Fucker Circus, my other channel, I interview Ken Byron, a very, very private tobacco blender, which he makes great blends. Plus, I review Carolina Red Flake with Perique. I love it. Indy Nidell's channel, World War II, 2 videos, D-Day summary, Time Ghost, a public service announcement. Thank you for telling me that in the comments in the last show. I forget who you are, but you know who you are, and thank you very much. Week 257, Bradley unleashes his Cobra. that they have to put it that way. I mean, for God's sakes. July 29th, 1944. I don't call mine a cobra, I call it a boa. Excuse me. The man famously known as Calandale, Enrico Viglino, 4 videos, and all of them are on the campaigns of Marlborough. So 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the man famously known as Calandale, Enrico Viglino. Patrick's Tactics and Tutorials has 1 video, and it's on Grant Takes Command 2, scenario number 9, the Overland Campaign, session number 3. Ruffy of Rough Swordsman Wargamer has 2 videos out. The Tony and Ruff livestream, The Last 100 Yards of Mike Denson Game, Part 4, published by GMT. And the War Room Live, I was supposed to, they invited me on this one here, but I couldn't. I worked. Sorry, gentlemen. I love you guys. So the War Room Live, the topic is, didn't buy that game and now regret it? Less and less these days. Respect, Jim Ozarski. 3 videos. The Battle of Lutzen for Blücher. Also, Grid Mark Future, Stumble Through. And the Battle of Dresden, South Flank for Valor and Fortitude. Artie of ARDWULF'S Lair, 3 videos. 3 live videos, and that's Classless Characters, Technology, and TTRPS. The medium is the message. TTRPGs, sorry, S. You put S here, but it's like G's. Artie, come on, dictation, or whatever you want to call it, spelling. Also, Counterclipping number 134, Publisher Spotlight, Revolution Games, plus a WBC report, and The Chit Show with Dan and Artie. Mini war games with Kerry Anderson of Micro Game Design. Check it out. Kerry is 1, a Canadian, so it's obviously interesting, and 2, he's a fencer. On the Blue Tweezers, 1 video on its Jeremy White's game Atlantic Chase scenario Operation 2 livestream with ID Jester. Jesus, ID Jester, man. And it's 4 hours of that. Woo! Grab a coffee, sit your butt down, watch the Blue Tweezers. GIMPY of the GIMPY Gamer has 1 video on its Assault Sicily 43 playthrough part 2. Kevin Kitchens One's Up on a Game, 2 videos, Unboxing the British Way and Unboxing Heroes of Normandy, Battle for Caen, Battle Pack number 2. I'm supposed to be getting something from Heroes from Normandy. I'm gonna go to the post office while I take a break here and see if I got myself a package. Hissy Cat Studios, 2 podcasts, Running Silent, Invisible, Unishba, Das Boot, and Lucky 13 and Real World Tactical Rules. That's on his War Game Design podcast, Hissy Cat Studios. Tikanis George, Re. Advanced Squad Leader Part 2, George Chiotis' channel, that is. Advanced Squad Leader Part 2, J213, a fluid situation play-by-play action report. Also, Advanced Squad Leader, how to build your own phase wheel. And ASL Tips and Tactics, 5 ways to use machine guns to maximum potential. George, I'll tell you how to use the machine gun. You press the button and things come flying out. Maxed. If I stole George. My favorite Frenchie, Fred Serval of Homo Luden, on his video Pilgrims, Spielworks, First Impression. Just checking out a game called Pilgrims. Man, don't look up. Does it look American? They look Dutch or what? I don't know. We'll see. The Boss, Clark Commando 1983. 4 videos were blessed. Red Sun Black Cross, Trip Down Memory Lane. Also, Avalon Hill's Third Reich After Action Report, How to Play number 7. plus a brief update and some thoughts on my Worked in Flames by Australian design group. Love it, he says. You're giving it away, boss. And a trip down memory lane and some passion for the hobby. Concerning a game here, I see Europe at war, but I'm sure that's not the only game. Be well, boss. Dave of the Centurions review has 3 videos. Dark City Games Operation Battle Axe review, plus Painted Reaper miniatures, Bethesda Doom Collection, and Victory Point Games 6th Panzer Army review. This is a game by Koenitz. Paul Koenitz. Hey?
The time and tide of war can last for a millennium. In this week's episode on Seek Out and Play, we continue our personal essay series with Britannia by PSC Games. The video includes mentions of previous iterations of Britannia by Avalon Hill and Fantasy Flight Games, but focuses on the unique concept of covering 1,000 years of conflict between the various tribes and civilizations of Britannia. Check out other videos in the personal essay series when you visit the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. And be sure to visit our Twitter and Facebook pages at Seek Out and Play. And I will see you next Wednesday.
Smart War Games, 1 video, and it's David Thompson's and Trevor Benjamin's Undaunted Normandy on Steam. The content and gameplay on Smart War Games. Pushing Cardboard has 1 video, and it's the Dark Summer unboxing. If I'm not mistaken, this is a Ted Racer game. The Wargame artist Matt White on Matt White War Games plays first Bull Run After Action Report American Civil War by Worthington Publishing. Dave of Dave's Gaming Cave has 4 videos, 1 being Stuka Leader, Battle of Britain 1940 Medium Campaign Day number 5, and the last 3, or the rest of the 3, are Combat Volume 2 Campaign June 15th, 1944 Parts 1 and 2, and a campaign setup. All this on Dave's Gaming Cave. Nanguaya, 4 videos, Axis and Allies, World War I, also getting ready for a Russian turn, the 4th of November, plus a Leo update, Leo being his cat, and 1 of the 2 herons. He checks out a heron, and he looks like he's in Ottawa. Oh well. Then Borovic, book arrived from Despot Infinitus, and fireworks as a backdrop for the Axis and Allies World War I 1914. All this on Nanguaya. Tony of Tony's Board Life 3 videos. ATS Stalingrad Baby Bounce 1 to the ferry. This is Mitch and Tony play ATS Stalingrad. Plus, the last 100 yards continued with Tony and Ruffy. And looks at Tony, that is, looks at Winged Leader with Mike Bertuccelli, Penny Packets. Volume 4, Part 2 on Tony's Board Life. The Board Game Chronicles 1 video, and it's the first look at Coin the British Way. I wonder who did that. Why don't I know that? I probably do. The Hugh Hefner of War Games. Todd from Wardy Road plays World War II. On to Richmond 2. Cool details plus a 6mm World War II model overview, I should say. Scale. This ain't oversize. Sale. What scale? Let me read it again. 6mm World War II model overview. Sale. They're tiny. Tiny! Plus Fighting Formations 29th Infantry Division. Turn 2. Play test, not final art. He's doing this from Vassal. Kings and Generals 3 videos. Amphipolis. 422 BC, the Peloponnesian Wars. This is a war in 4K. Plus how the Ottomans defeated the Last Crusade. Nicopolis 1396. And the Battle of Mantinea 1418 BC. This is concerning the Peloponnesian Wars, number 5. On Kings and Generals, that wonderful, wonderful channel. ID Jester, 4 videos. He's learning how to play Twilight Struggle. Also, monthly board game recap. This is June and July 2023. Origins and Beyond. I guess he went to Origins? That's what he's saying? Plus a live open the box with new war game arrivals. Arkham Horror. 2nd edition. 4 investigators versus Gantanothoa. Part 3. Hey. Plus Castle Panic. And Battle Lore. Plus the War Room with Mark Herman and Herman Lotman. Is it Mark Herman for real? No, with Herman Lutman and Mark Walker. Sorry. Hey, Mark Walker, Mark Herman, Herman Lutman. Who's on first? You know what I'm saying? Plus, Conflict of Heroes Firefight number 1 Partisan Solo playthrough on ID Jester. On the Tank Museum, Street Fighters: The Evolution of Tank in Urban Warfare. For our Spanish viewers, Purgando mi colección, purging his collection number 3 on Julius Fairfax. Storm of Steel Wargaming 2 videos, a bench report hobby update, plus a World War I shell crater painting guide. Guess there was a lot of shell craters. For God's sakes. The Tabletop's Edge 1 video, and it's a combined World in Flames and Days of Decision 3 campaign, playthrough number 18, May/June 1939 on the Tabletop's Edge. Steven Dolges is back with 1 video, Reluctant Enemies, and OCS game, Rest of Turn 1 and 2. Compass Games, Town Hall, episode number 70, with Bill Thomas and John Krantz. Beyond Solitaire, Liz has 2 videos, and she's, I should say, checking out Jason Morningstar on Night Witches, plus help us out, top 20 historical games on, it says contribute to the top 20 historical solo game list. So it's random research, solo war, and historical games 2023. Winter Quartering, 2 videos, Storm over Jerusalem by Multiman Publishing and Undaunted Battle of Britain. Am I the only one, David, that doesn't have that game? From Osprey Games. Charles Latora has 4 videos. Rock Cairns for the Graves. Yes or no? Vote. Also, Dumbstein and Turn 3. French got a problem? Or Dernstein. The R and the N, they look like an M to me, so it looks like Dumbstein. And Red Typhoon counters all set up. Hex numbers are hard to read. Plus he's got some sort of creature happening on Charles Author's channel. Hex to Hex, one video. Gettysburg 77. Fire combat. You see how my brain worked? I tried to put 77 with fire together. 77. Gettysburg 77. Fire combat on Hex to Hex. Legendary Tactics 4 videos. Mr. President board game flash pocket review. Plus top 10 Uno variants. I played that game with my children. Yeah, it was fun. Gen Con message. 24 seconds of that. Plus the Last Kingdom board game is here. And he's showing us a miniature on Legendary Tactics. For our Polish viewers, Wojennik TV, Michel, has 3 videos. He's reviewing Command and Colors, Napoleonics, the Spanish Army. This one is in English, plus unboxing La Navas de Tolosa in Polish, and reviewing Austri-Dieser. God, I'm blasting that. In Polish, for our Polish viewers. And it's time to take it easy and watch Killdozer on Creature Features.
This week on 6 Actual, we look at Solomon's campaign from SPI. This is a vintage 1973 flat-pack strategic game that covers the campaign for Guadalcanal. South Pacific air, land, and sea action, only on 6 Actual.
6 Actual.
Hexton Countered has 4 videos. He's playing Stalin's Triumph, a game by Lock and Load Publishing, of Nations at War segment, for lack of a better word. Then he plays Stargate Timekeeper. This is a gameplay preview look. Also, The Barracks Emperor, solo play example, a game by GMT. And South Pacific Second World War at Sea, first look. This looks to me like a Panzer Grenadier type thing. But hey, that's for you to know. ASL Scenario Archives has 1 video, and it's, listen to me, IR91 Chateau de Mise. You know it, I don't. Combat Board Games has 1 video, and it's looking at and playing Unconventional Hero, a dice game set in Vietnam by Brent Campbell. But there's a ... I'm sure it's by Brett Campbell on Combat Board Games. Simple History has 2 videos. The Grey Ghost of World War II, the USS Enterprise. Also, Deadly Snipers on the Battlefield. Simple History. Fenny Rob, 2 videos. Galactic Cruise board game. Designer's Quick Pitch plus Dogfight, a Carlo A. Rossi game, board game. It's a playthrough, yellow versus green base, game 2. On My Own Worst Enemy, 1 video, and it's Greg Besanc's Triumph and Tragedy, turn number 7. Gamer Hudson, 3 videos, and all 3 are on GMT's Barbarossa Army Group Center 1941, and he is talking about replacements, engineers, and anti-air fire on Gamer Hudson. Mo of Mo's Game Table, 2 videos. Oceans of Fire from Compass Games. This is a preview plus Conquering the Valley, Cross Key / Port Republic from the Tiny Battle Publishing, a preview. The Guide of the Gamer's Closet has 2 videos. Jurassic Park, a playthrough, plus unboxing the game called Planet. Avert your eyes, young children, don't look, on Tank Zone, top 10 best board games for couples. Ew! Hey man, look at this, okay? This is a pasta granny. You want to learn how to make fingernail pasta? with Barbara Mario and Assunta. Watch this. Juste Garde has one video, and it's a new arrival, El Gran Capitan from Europa Simulations, or Europa Simulazioni. Timmy of Harebrained Games has two videos. He unboxes Witcher Old World. You know, there's that TV show. I didn't give it a chance, but I don't know if I'm into that. I'm not into spells and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Also, he unboxes another game called The Last Kingdom. And this is the Vikings. I know that much. Little Wars TV. The Courier and early American wargaming. Wow, that sounds cool. That's 13 minutes of that. That's cool. Cool. The Professor Riccardo Mazzini in Italian Grandi Manovre. La Crocchiata. La Crocchiate. You know, I don't even know what that is. But he's Italian, and I'm half Italian. What can I tell you? Cody of the Discriminating Gamer has two videos. He checks out GMT's Ancient Civilizations of the Middle East, plus Cruel Necessity. Now, I don't know which one he's checking out, but I know this was a Victory Points game, and I don't know if Worthington picked it up. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's why it's exciting to be here. History Hustle has one video, and it's the Bay of Kotor under Italian rule during World War II, the province of Cattaro. It sounds like Italian, but not really Kotor. It sounds like Greece to me. Poindexter Games continues with Western Front Ace Patrol 2 and 3 of a Greg M. Smith game. And Dragoon Commander, they are going to be having a 5th anniversary of the mustering into service of the Armchair Dragoons, the regiment of strategy gaming, and that's going to be happening the 31st of August, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 6 p.m. PDT. What about EDT? All kinds of E's here.
Howdy folks, Meandering Mike here, Man Cave of Madness. This is my weekly channel update for everyone watching Dan Bencaldi's show No Enemies Here. As you can see, I have done 4 videos for the week. The first one was an unboxing of various miniatures. It was part of the poll I had on my community tab, letting the viewers decide what minis I would paint next. What does a phoenix, a catapult, and some cliffs have in common? Watch and find out. The next one over was an unboxing of some minis I found in their own separate boxes at the bottom of a box of clothing I was going to be giving away to the Goodwill. Luckily, I dug through all that before I gave it away. They were things that I had bought a few years ago and were just sitting around in the boxes, so you can take a look at that. I also continued my playthrough of Der Valkyrie, got another turn done on that, getting closer and closer towards the end. It looks like it's going to be really close. Looks like the Russians may pull out a tie or maybe even a victory, but currently the Germans are ahead by a tiny razor-thin margin. The last video I did for this week, full-length video, is Border Reavers. It's a release from GMT that came out just a little bit ago. It's a good old English-Scottish conflict on the border in the 1500s to 1600s. Get to steal sheep and horses and all that good fun stuff. So you can take a look at that if you haven't already seen that. I also did a couple of shorts. Let's see, you can get this here so you can see that. The two on the far left there, the one called The Will of the People. That was the results of the poll. There was 3 different possibilities. There was a 2-way tie in the end, so what I ended up doing was selecting some minis out of each of the 2 groups, and that's what I'll be painting this upcoming weeks here. And the last short is an example of the Olmec heads that were part of the Terrain Scenics minis group that I'm doing, and I did them with the same kind of paint but different primer underneath, and you can see the differences, how those come out. I'm going to do some weathering techniques and stuff on them. That. So minis and board games and other good stuff like that. So that is my update for the week. So I'm going to send it back to you, Dan, and all the good folks watching Nonies here. Take care and ciao.
79 years ago today, my uncle, Private First Class Theodore Carroll, was killed in New Guinea during World War II. That was 1944. This is his Purple Heart that my parents just picked up from a family member on a recent visit down south. And here is an excerpt of his obituary. Private First Class Theodore R. Carroll, 20, son of Mr. and Mrs. S.F. Carroll of Rockmart, Route 2, was killed in action in New Guinea area August 4th. His parents were notified. Private First Class entered the service in March of 1943 and was sent overseas last March. No details of his death were given, but a letter written by Private First Class Carroll August 3rd told of an intensity of the fighting in his area and of the probability of his not surviving.
I don't know. I've lived a good life. I mean, I've had a lot of happiness, smiling, telling everybody that everything was beautiful every day. If I went into my church and didn't say everything was beautiful, they'd think I was sick. And I'm not that way. I mean, I sincerely believe in this old world that everything is beautiful. I mean, if I wake up in the morning and see these plants out here and all those flowers that are in there and the green grass on the ground, that's beautiful. And people don't realize what they have. They bitch about it. They do. And then nowadays, I am so upset that the things we did and the things we fought for, and the boys that died for it, it's all gone down the drain. Our country's gone to hell in a handbasket. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised, not at all. Nobody will have the fun I had. Nobody will have the opportunity I had. It's just not the same. And that's not what our boys, that's not what they died for. It's just not it. Darling, I'm so sorry. I'll be all right. Just takes me time to get over it. Because why me? See, sitting here like this, see, all this going on. Listen, it's just, Emily, it's just not the same. That isn't what we fought for. Oh well, I should be worried about it, I guess. I'm 100 years old, they say.
That one will be
I'm
my
not,
fight.
I worry about it. Yes, I worry.
That will be my fight. Yeah. For sure.
Well, okay, you just remember everything's beautiful, and live every day to the fullest. Just enjoy everything you possibly can.
Another week, another show. We ended on a happy, somber note with Kilroy's uncle. War. What can we say? Huh? It's what defines us. So I guess that's it. It's Friday night for me. We're invited for supper to the neighbors, which is a lot of fun. Great neighbor. And I'm gonna be nice and I'm gonna be polite. As should you. Not that you're not, but be nice. I know some of you are not, and it's hard. But let me tell you, it gets easier. So, till next week, have a great weekend, everyone.